And recording in progress, and I am making Evan co-host and Isaiah co-host. And Madam Chair, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Calling together tonight's planning board meeting, July 2nd, 2024. Tonight's meeting is being recorded. We will do a roll call for accuracy of votes. And if anyone in the public has a question, when it's open to public, you can raise your hand and you'll be, Rob will move you forward so you can speak. Also just want to introduce again Matthew Gallagher. We have a new board member.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, everyone.
So roll call, Matthew.
Here.
Yolando.
Here.
Marty.
Here.
James.
Here.
And Tony Gonzalez present. All right, we have a short agenda tonight. We have a lot release, Kent Estates. We have an extension request for 1200 Montello and a preliminary subdivision for 1003 Crescent Street. We are going to move reviewing the minutes from last month's meeting, June 4th, 2024 to August meeting. Okay. All right. Evan, the lot release, please.
Sure. So as you said, it's Kent Estates. This is a subdivision that came through the board last year at some point. It's a subdivision of 7 lots. They are looking to release 6 of them today. Lots 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7. With the board holding on to 1 lot, lot 4. They gave us their work plan and estimates, and it all looks good. So we don't see any issue in releasing those 6 lots at this time.
You said we're holding on to lot 4?
Yes. That's going to be the surety.
Oh,
going
okay.
forward. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Is there a motion?
Motion to release all lots but lot 4.
Second.
Okay, roll call. Yolando,
Yes.
Matthew,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
Tony Gonzalez, yes. Okay. Next up, the extension request.
I will move
That's
to
Tim.
panelist.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Okay. Everybody can hear me. Good evening. Rob, do I introduce this or?
Yes, give your best spiel and lay it on thick.
Okay. So my name's Tim Doherty. I'm with NeighborWorks Housing Solutions. We are in the process of closing and beginning construction on our 1200 Montello Street development, 94 unit new construction project. We anticipate beginning in September. As it stands now, our site plan approval would expire in March 2025. We're going to have a 2-year construction period. If we begin in September, as scheduled, we'd be pulling our certificate of occupancy in September of 2026. So prior to closing, I'm here to request a 2-year extension to bump our site plan approval completion date out to March 2027 to accommodate our timeline.
And the reason for this, other reason for this is you have very persnickety lawyers and they want everything to line up correctly for the closing.
That's right.
Okay. I don't think this is open to public, right, Rob?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Yeah, motion to approve extension.
Second.
All right, roll call, Yolando,
Yes.
Matthew,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
and Tony, it's a yes. All right, thank you, Tim.
Thanks, members
you,
of the
Tim.
board. Thank you. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Right, next we have 1003 Crescent Street preliminary subdivision. Is that,
I'm promoting Scott Farrier to
Okay.
journalist, although he has his hand up. Oh, he took his hand down.
good
There we go.
evening, Scott.
Good evening, Madam Chair. Good evening, board members.
Hey,
Uh,
Scott.
Yeah, work tonight, but I'm at my office with no issues, so glad to be in front of you guys. I have a preliminary subdivision for you tonight. We had a previous submission that the planning department had suggested some changes to. So the plan that I'm gonna attempt to share. The plan that I have to talk about tonight is the plan that that we went over with the planning department. Not sure if you folks are seeing anything.
Yeah,
Yes.
we can see it, Scott.
All right, 2 for 2. All right, thank you. So what we have, a piece of land at 103 Crescent Street down near the Whitman Town line. It's about a 3.5 acre parcel of land. Existing house 103 fronts on Crescent. There's a whole series of paper streets along this section of Crescent Street that have not been constructed. So what the applicant would like to do is to construct this portion of Butler Street, a little over 500 feet, and that would provide frontage and access for his 4 new lots. There would be 125 feet of frontage with 30,000 square feet. With your preliminary approval tonight, we can then go to the Board of Appeals at an upcoming meeting and see if they will give us variances for lot relief. So that's basically why we're here before you tonight. The previous proposal that we had followed Butler Street, but then kind of dipped down and had a cul-de-sac. And the planning department really didn't like veering off of the Butler Street layout. So we adjusted things. We lost 1 lot in doing so. But I think everybody, at least at our little sit down with the department, felt like this was a better layout, Madam Chair. So this is what we have. As I said, we've got to go to the Board of Appeals for relief. If they grant the relief, then we'll come back before you with the definitive subdivision.
I mean, thank you, Scott. I remember reviewing this last week before you continued it. I don't have questions. Do other board members?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I do.
Go ahead.
Scott, I called,
Marty, you put yourself on mute. Can you unmute that? There you go.
Scott, I spoke to Isaiah. I'm
Yes.
sorry, I spoke to Evan. And to try to get us, and I drove over there to try to get a sense of where this was. Tell me where, if you could orient me, tell me where Alger Street is.
Alger Street is, I'm moving my, but it's on the top of the page.
Okay,
And probably, I don't know, maybe 200 feet away. This is the Baptist church, which this is the Baptist church's property. Their church is up off of Alger Street, so we're a few hundred feet east of Alger.
behind.
Yeah, so
So
it'd be
you-
at the top of the page would be Alger Street.
So you're behind it, you're behind the church.
Exactly, that's
Um,
correct.
And there's one house existing on Crescent Street.
Within our property, that's correct.
Okay, and the driveway, according to what Evan said, the driveway of that house, is that Butler Street?
Yes, exactly. The driveway comes in over essentially what would be Butler Street, exactly.
All right, and then behind there, they can fit another, what, 4 lots, 3 lots?
That's correct, 4 new lots.
Okay, and to get to those homes, you're just gonna continue that driveway and make it into a street?
We're gonna continue it. Yeah, right now it's a driveway. It'll be, your regular pavement with curbing and utilities. It'll be a public street.
But it's not an accepted street if it's a paper street though, right?
It's not at this point, but as part of the subdivision process after construction, we would petition the council to accept it as a public way.
Okay, it looks pretty, it looked like there's a lot of property there. It was hard to see from the street, but there's a lot of woods there.
There definitely is
So
a
I-
lot of woods. There's that whole stretch, as you said, from Alger Street all the way down to the Whitman Town line. There's kind of a lot of property there that is not developed.
And who owns this property?
Oh,
It's not the church.
no, exactly. It's Charles Sergio owns the property, not the
Okay.
church.
All right, Madam Chair, thank you, Scott. Madam Chairwoman, that's
Thank you,
all I have.
All right, thank you, Marty. Other
Yeah,
board
Ma-
members?
Madam Chair, I have a question. So, what we're seeing a lot of when you're clearing lots and clearing woods is rodent infestation going into the surrounding neighborhoods. Is there any plan to mitigate that ahead as a, proactive instead of reactive?
Right now, no, just in this kind of preliminary planning part, but what we've talked to just about all of our clients and it's kind of the new neighborhood issue, not just in Brockton, but everywhere that we're working. It's definitely, it used to be, flooding and where the deer and hawks gonna go. Now it's about the rodents that are gonna be displaced. So it is, what we always do is tell our clients to, during the planning part of it, is to get with a pest management company and come up with a pest management plan. But as you said, a proactive plan before construction. And who, I don't want to trump one company over others, but there's at least one company that does a lot of work in Brockton, situated in West Bridgewater, that has an environmentally friendly extraction methods, I guess you'd say. So that's who we at least push our clients to at least discuss the issue with and try to get out ahead of it.
All right, so when would you know you have a problem? When someone complains, or
No,
what would be the system in place?
once we get ZBA approval and we're proceeding with definitive subdivision, we would have that plan and we could certainly submit it as part of our subdivision plan, just like we give you drainage plans and traffic plans, a rodent mitigation plan, I think we could call it.
That would be great if we could. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
All right, other questions?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I was just wondering if Scott can tell us about the vegetation in the area, because so there's going to be new, this is a new development and there will be some stuff that needs to be cut back, but just wondering what will remain or what will be added.
Yeah, it's what essentially is the backyard for 1003. You can kind of see this squiggly line on my plan is the existing tree line. So it does, it does go back a pretty good distance. There's a few clusters of trees, but we would basically be leaving probably about 100 feet of trees in the back of these lots 2 through 5. Butler Street, again, that private right of way, we show the tree line about halfway through, but the tree line's kind of the canopy, so there'd be a little bit of clearing of trees within Butler Street. But again, most of the property is kind of open. There's a few large opened areas, so we would still give a big, at least 100-foot buffer of vegetation along, I guess, what you'd call Caroline Street. There is this wetland area that falls off-site, so
Okay.
obviously just to make our life easier, we want to stay at least 100 feet away, which is this red 100-foot buffer zone. So all of our construction would at least be further than that line.
Great. And I see that the granite curb piece there, so the sidewalk will be added along with other stuff on Butler, like.
Yeah, well,
that.
again, we'll have to talk, as we get to the definitive part. The issue with a lot of these private ways they're only 40 feet wide. And all of your road standards are based on a 50-foot layout. Typically you require 34 feet of pavement, the curbing, then sidewalks. Obviously you can't make all that work in a 40-foot layout. So we would have to discuss with the planning department and you folks as to exactly what you know, what we would be looking for. We know obviously we need pavement, we need curbing on either side. So the, you know, the things that would be up for discussion would be the number of sidewalks, the width of the sidewalks, and the width of the pavement. There's, you know, there's certainly a move afoot, you know, in planning circles and in urban settings to reduce the amount of paving. So where your requirements right now are 34 feet, we'd love to get that down to 24 feet, but that might be a little skinny, so we try to get it down to 28. The whole, you know, the heat islands that we talk about, they're certainly more centrally located downtown, but it's still something that we should be looking at throughout the city. So I think that's something that we'll have further discussions if and when we get through the ZBA process.
Great, thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
And then, you know, on that note, I guess there'd be no parking allowed on the street
Yeah,
because it might be smaller.
Yeah, certainly not. Certainly no parking. And, you know, as you know, Madam Chair, I think the reason for the wide pavement in your regulations, the 34 feet of pavement, was specifically for that, because it allowed people to park on their streets, where back in the day when the subdivision regs first came into event, most houses didn't have a garage. So now with everybody building these houses with 2-car garages and 2-car width driveways, there's no reason for anybody to be parking in the street. So because of that, we can reduce the width of the streets and still have plenty of room for vehicles and emergency vehicles to get in and out.
And their guests, they're gonna have guests, Scott, and garages full of stuff. So you might want to think about making sure they have enough for guest parkings. Right now we have graduations going on everywhere and people are parked all up and down streets and it's very hard to maneuver through.
I agree. We could make everybody rent a storage unit that we've had approved lately and put all their stuff in the storage units so they can keep at least 2 cars free in the garage. So we could try that. I don't know if it'll stand up, but I know what you're saying, Madam Chair. There certainly is.
Yeah, think about
know.
the driveways accommodating their kids, their teenagers' cars and their teenager friends' cars and
A couple times a year, it's an issue for sure.
yeah. Okay, and then all right. Any other questions?
Yeah, Madam Chair, one last question. Scott, so all utilities are underground, correct, including the power?
That's correct.
Okay, all right, that's it. Thank you.
If there are no other questions, we'll open it up to the public.
Madam Chair, there are no attendees.
Okay. Is
So I
there a
would
motion?
assume no questions.
Motion to approve with standard conditions.
Second,
All right, roll call. James,
Yes.
Matthew? Matthew?
Yes.
Okay, Yolando,
Yes.
Marty,
yes.
Tony, yes.
All right. Thank you, folks. Enjoy the holiday and we'll
Thank
see you
you.
soon.
All right.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
There is any other business we need to discuss? If not, motion to adjourn.
Before we leave board, I need you guys to come in to sign. At your earliest convenience. We're not going to be here. We're not going to be in the office Thursday and Friday. Obviously, we have the holiday, but we'll be in next week. So tomorrow, next week, that'll be at your earliest convenience.
I can't make it till Monday, but I'll be there Monday.
Monday. Sounds good.
Okay.
And remember, we're in a new building.
Yes,
Walk all the way up to the 3rd floor and then go.
okay.
Okay.
All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
To adjourn.
Second.
That was a lot of seconds. Okay, Yolando. Yolando? You're frozen.
You said aye. I can see.
Aye. Aye.
Okay, Matthew,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
Tony. Yes, all right. Adjourned. Have a good evening, everyone.
Good holiday,
Yeah.
everyone.
Happy 4th.
See you later.
Happy 4th. Be safe.